So the DJI MAVIC 3 has just been updated with the new ActiveTrack 5.0. When this drone was first released last month, there was no ActiveTrack built in yet. However, with this update, we now get access to all the same ActiveTrack features that were on the previous DJI drones with some new additions. So what I want to do in this video is show you the different ActiveTrack features that you have so that you can track a subject, whether it's you yourself doing something like mountain biking, or if you're tracking like a vehicle or a boat or anything like that. These features give you the ability to track an object, and then the drone does all the work for you. Now, I'd love to test this in like dense trees, but I'm here in Southern California and there's not a whole lot of trees. But there are a few different ways that I can test this ActiveTrack so that we can test the obstacle avoidance, because the big difference with the MAVIC 3 is that you have that side-to-side obstacle avoidance. Whereas with the DJI Air 2, Air 2S, any of those drones, you only have front-to-back obstacle avoidance. So I've done a lot of work with the ActiveTrack with these previous drones. However, the big issue comes when you have ActiveTrack on and you're moving to the side. So with the MAVIC 3, it solves that issue. And we're gonna test how that works in a few different ways. So first, let's just dig into what the different features are when you turn on your ActiveTrack. All right, so let's just do a quick rundown. You can see my screen here. I just want to go through how this works. So basically, when you want to turn on ActiveTrack, you just drag a box around your subject and then it will grab your subject. So see, it's grabbed me as a person. And you have these three boxes that pop up underneath. So you have ActiveTrack, Spotlight, and Point of Interest. So Spotlight mode is basically the drone just sits in one spot unless you personally move the joysticks. So I'm gonna move the joysticks and the drone's gonna fly around, and it's always gonna keep me in the center no matter where the drone goes. I never have to really even look at the drone, and I know that I'm gonna be in the center. This is really useful because you could do some creative movements with the drone and it's gonna keep me centered. Kind of a cool feature to use. And I've used this in a lot of creative ways with, Air 2S, because you could just keep your subject centered and then do some cool moves, and the drone automatically does this whole rotation thing and keeps that subject centered. Now with Point of Interest, you click on the Point of Interest button and click go. You have this little bar with the arrows. That is the speed that you can set for how fast you want it to spin. And Point of Interest is basically the drone is just gonna spin around your subject in a circle indefinitely. So for a situation like this where I'm on top of a mountain, this is perfect to put the drone up and get that cool circle motion to show basically everything around where you're at. And the last thing that you have is ActiveTrack, and we're gonna play with that in a second, but I do wanna talk about some of the features that you have access to when you're in these tracking modes. Now, unfortunately, you can't shoot in D-Log. For me, that's one thing that's really frustrating about the software is you have to use the normal mode. I personally shoot everything in D-Log, so the fact that I have to use normal to be able to track is a little bit unfortunate. And I think part of that is to do with the fact that, when you're in the flat setting, it's harder to visually track with the software. And I feel like that could be fixed if there was a setting where you could turn on like a LUT or just a basic baked in look so you get the same normal view, but you're still recording in D-Log. So that's one unfortunate thing. Also, you can't use this tracking in 5.1K. You can only use it in 4K or Cinema 4K, up to 60 frames per second in the normal mode using tracking. So now let's test the ActiveTrack and the new features that come in ActiveTrack 5.0, and I'm gonna do it on a bike. It's a great way to be able to film with a little bit more speed than hiking, and I have this controller mount, which allows me to just pop the controller in super easy. We'll pack all this up and go ride a bike. And a few things that I want to test with this is one, hills, because I'm in this area where there's lots of hills going up, lots of hills going down. I want to see how it follows in that scenario. Also, as you can see, you know, with these hills, they're kind of rolling. So I'm gonna have the drone do some spins around me, point of interest style, and see if it's gonna run into anything. We're hoping that with these new sensors that it's not going to, but definitely wanna test that. And then last, I wanna show you just on the screen, this new feature that makes it a lot easier to film yourself when you're flying with this active track. So I need to turn this camera off so I can go do some writing. Also, one note, I'm using the new freewell filters that they just came out with for the Mavic 3. I have a polarizer ND filter on, so I'm shooting at double that my frame rate so I can get motion blur in my shot, but also, you know, I have a polarizer on there, so it should make the footage pop a little bit more with, you know, the kind of clouds that I have. Polarizers are really great when you're shooting like snow or the ocean or, you know, skies like this. So we're playing around with that. And I'll put a link down below in the description if you want to check out the filters or any of my LUTs that I've created for drone footage. All this footage that you're seeing from the drone has been graded with my LUTs. All right, let's go. All right, I'm gonna sync my audio with a big clap. Okay, so I'm using the DJI mic so you can hear what's going on and I can talk to you, but we're gonna use all the visuals from the drone in my screen record. Pretty cool with these DJI mics that you could just use it as a recorder like this, have a sync point, and then you have audio basically anywhere. And you don't have to be close to a receiver because it's just a recorder at this point. All right, real quick, I just want to show you Spotlight. So if you want to use your drone as like a tripod in the sky and have it follow you, you just put it to Spotlight mode, track your subject, and then it will just sit there and keep that subject in the position that you want it as your subject moves through frame. So super easy. I'm gonna put myself off to the right third. Same type of thing. I'm making a pass the other direction. Let's put it into active track mode. And you'll see right here that something new pops up on the screen with active track. So when you go to active track, you're gonna click the button and it's gonna show the different ways that you can follow your subject. Behind, to the left, to the right, to the front, or even like the front corner. So let's follow off to the left and let's hit go. So now it's gonna go off to my left side and follow me from that direction wherever I move. So it takes a second for it to orient itself to the subject, but as you can see, it's now following off to my left side. So right now I'm filming in the normal mode, which means that all my sensors are working and the drone is definitely avoiding this giant hill that it would run into if I was working with the DJI Air 2S. It's just completely avoiding all the obstacles and it's flying up as I go up the hill. Sorry if I'm a little out of breath, but I'm climbing. I'm trying to get this drone to chase me faster. And you can see it starts to float back as I move faster, but it does catch back up. So it does take a few seconds for it to get in the exact position, but it is following and it's avoiding everything that's in its way. Pretty incredible, isn't it? Oh man, drone's making me work. All right, let's go up the hill. All right, let's switch it. Let's go in front. Let's go up the hill. I'm chasing you. Come on, drone. Move faster. All right, follow me behind. Let's go up the hill together. Come on, drone. We're getting to the summit. We are almost there. All right, made it to the summit, put it in point of interest. spin it around. Here we are.
All right, I want to pause the video for 1 second. There's no sponsor to this video, but I did just launch a course on editing, how you can edit better videos, whether you are someone who's creating for YouTube or you just want to make interesting stories and share them. Well, I put a course together that goes through all the basics on editing, basically everything that you need to know, and it's all around Final Cut Pro. Now, this course is available right now on Skillshare. And if you don't have a Skillshare account, you can try it out for 30 days completely free. So you can go take this course. But let's get back to talking about this new Active Track.
All right, so one thing I want to test is if Active Track works in Explore mode. And it does not.
Pretty cool how it finds which orientation you're going, and then it will find the side that you're on. It's such a rad feature. Let's swap it to the other side. All right, so I don't have a ton of battery left, but I'm just gonna throw it in point of interest, and I'm gonna ride down a single track hill here. I'm gonna go up this way first. So basically the drone is circling off to my left. It's at a medium pace. But the idea is I want the drone to continue to spin around me as I do this trail. So I'm always getting a cool dynamic shot as I'm riding my bike down this trail. Hasn't lost me yet. Oh, I might have lost me. Did it find me? See if it could pick me back up. It's still spinning. Nope. So I went behind that bush and it just completely lost me. All right, let's try this again. I'm gonna spin the other direction this time. So now it's coming along the right side. All right, there's a hill. Let's see if it dodges the hill. All right, it went up to avoid the hill and it's circling back to follow me. Back around this way. Let's see if it could follow me on these loops. Woo! How is it handling? Good. A little straightaway here coming up. Speeding up. Getting away from the drone. Looks like it lost me. All right, I've got a steep section here. Let's see what happens. Does it follow me down? Stay high. There we go. Now it's found my orientation. So now it's falling behind. Oh, look at this little bridge. A
A couple thoughts after reviewing all of this footage and just playing with this active track in a few different settings. The active track works well. You just have to have a clear visual line of sight for the active track to stay locked on. There was definitely moments where I went behind a bush or the drone would be moving fast up and over me and it would lose the tracking. Now it does grab back on if you're somewhere in the frame within a few seconds, but if you go too far out of frame, it's not going to find you again. So definitely you need a clear line of sight. And like I said earlier in this video, I want to test this in a forest and really see if it can track you through the trees, because just working with it in this setting where it's clear and open, you definitely need to have that clear line of sight. So if trees are going between, you just have to figure out how many trees or how much time you can go behind something before it will grab back on. So definitely need to do more testing in those kind of settings. Overall though, I think the active track does work super well. It seems to stay locked on better than my Air 2S, and just everything that I've tested with it, it looks good. A little bit frustrating you can't use D-Log. Maybe they'll update that in a future firmware update, but for now it is what it is. You have 4K 60 frames per second, you can track. It's not cropped in or anything like that, so it does work well, and if you need to track a subject, I think it's a great option. Now make sure you head down in the description to check out my editing course, and next, you should watch this video, which is all about some of the biggest mistakes you should avoid when you're flying your drone. See you on the next video.